Here are some apple trees we did last year. The guy had to stump them. I didn't want to stump them because I worry about too much sap coming up and flooding the grafts, but he insisted that he would take care of them, and he's a real good manager, so he did take care of them. Anytime he saw water or sap bubbling up in this area, they'd come in and cut it open and let them bleed out. So I mean, it's like probably 99.9% take. It's hard to find a dead one out here. I haven't seen a dead one yet. They just did so well. But he wanted them low like this because of this trellising system. And then you can see they've trained some out on the wire, and then they cut these others back just to hold. They don't need them all, but they need them to heal in the stump so they don't start to get dieback. It has to bridge from here to here with callousing tissue, which is like if you see a wound, there's callousing right there. But if you see a wound on a tree, if you see sometimes I don't know, you probably can't imagine this, but I've seen trees that maybe a car ran into and you see how they heal themselves up, and that healing tissue is called callousing. That's the tape we put on, and this is all callousing tissue. It's all the healing cells. So here's a little graft we put in. It's called Scion, S-C-I-O-N, from here to here, about 6 inches long with about 3 buds on it. And we just pop the bark open, and when the bark's slipping, and make a cut on one side and slide it down in there and tape it up and paint it, and this is what you get. Brand new trees, new variety, and we did a lot of them. So this was the view from my office. That's Victor in front of me. I keep running into him, or rear end him. He's going back up. He just passed the school bus, so I'd quit rear-ending him. I mean, he did not pass it illegally, but he wanted to get away from me. I rammed him pretty hard that last time. I probably woke up Jorge. He's in the back seat. The other day I talked about a wound on a tree and how it heals itself up, or callousing tissue, and that's what this is. This has been hit. This is tractor blight. We call this tractor blight. Somebody ran into it. But you see around the edge all this tissue, that's callousing tissue. That's undifferentiated cells. That's what that is. They're not vascular cells, they're just healing cells. So that's what it does, and that's what the graft does. It produces these cells, and I'll explain more about what those do in the grafting, but just want to show that healing tissue on there. Well, they just fired up the wind machine over there. They're testing their machines to get everything ready for frost season. Once these trees start to bud out, then they're susceptible to frost and freezing. So they run the irrigation water in the orchard, and that brings the temperature up a little bit. And then these wind machines, they bring the temperature up a little too. Well, it is definitely grafting season. See, I got up about 5 this morning, about 4:30, I think it was. Left Wenatchee at 6 a.m., drove 2 hours to the job site, and I put in 9 hours on that chainsaw, and I mean 9 hours. Just We stopped 10 minutes. I stopped 10 minutes for a break and had a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. But other than that, it was just stop and fuel up, oil up, and go again. And I did that for 9 hours straight just to stay out in front of Victor. I just can't shake him. It's all I can do to stay out in front of, well, I got 2 grafters out there, running 2 crews right now. So, but for me to stay out in front of them, it's all I can do. So cut about 900 trees, and there's about 4 or 5 cuts to each tree. So do the math. It's quite a bit of chainsaw work for an old guy. But anyway, now after 9 hours on the chainsaw and a 2-hour drive to work, I got to drive back home because tomorrow's payday. And my bookkeeper comes today and does payroll, and I got to go get those checks so those guys can have their checks tomorrow, because I'm a real stickler about payday being payday. I always wanted my check when I was working somewhere, so I always make sure these guys get their check on time. I don't care what I have to do to make that happen. So that's my little old day for today. You know, just kind of a piddle around day. You know, nothing too stressful. But I got a 2-hour drive ahead of me now, so I'm gonna shut up and get on with it. And I might even get a little bit of sleep later on tonight. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, later. See ya. Bye. Well, too bad the rockabilly's outside. The rockabilly. I'm tired. Can't even talk. Too bad Dojalac is outside under a tarp, because my friend Frank came over from Snohomish today. He's going to help me with some chainsaw work, and he brought me a present. And this is awesome, and I'm really tired, but I had to show you guys. Check this out. Isn't that a beauty? Man, it's in great condition. I just can't wait to see it on the Dojalac. It was just crying out for a visor, and he brought me one. And that's awesome. Okay,